Rambo, all hustle, yeah.
Our hustle is our hustle.
Absol.
Our hustle is our hustle.
Our hustle is our hustle.
Welcome back to the Hip Hop Report. This is Rambo Hustle. And of course, today we'll be reviewing a brand new project, Skiddle Bandana, the brand new album from, and actually kind of a debut album from New Orleans upcoming artist LaReezy. Now, I first heard of LaReezy on the On the Radar podcast when they did, or I don't know, podcast, but the On the Radar Cypher when they had multiple artists that are notable, like Ray Vaughn. They also had Marlon Craft and a couple other names that we had were already familiar with. But to me, LaReezy had one of the most standout moments in that cipher, and ever since has catapulted as, you know, one of the most promising young talents from that cipher and from the new generation. You know, coming from New Orleans, it's never easy, and to me, he is a product of the legacy that Lil Wayne left behind. I would love to see him collaborate with producers like Manny Fresh and other people that developed that Lil Wayne, Cash Money, Hot Boy sound. But for now, what we get from LaReezy is just fine. Even though I do feel like he's still developing and trying to find his flow and his pocket and experimenting with what his range can actually do. You know, on this particular project, we do get a lot of singing, melody, but we get tons of rapping, you know. And even at the young age of 21, while still developing his flow and his style, he seems to have quite a good grasp on his visual representation as far as his image, and doing things that allow him to stand out and have a star presence that I think is really important, both visually but also on the record. Already having records like Family Busy, which really details out, not only details out the struggles of coming up in the South, already tackling, you know, family experiences, but what the racism experience is like living in the South and growing up in the South. You know, on that record, which he actually released on Juneteenth, he details, you know, the experience of coming up in a family where he has to provide and he has to hustle and he has to make things happen for the dynamics of his family as the leader of the family, trying to break through in an industry that obviously is extremely difficult to actually pave the way for yourself to be successful. Now, LaReezy is already on his fourth project, this one being more or less his debut album since gaining the kind of traction and attention that he currently has now. Now, of course, the XXL cover will definitely help get a lot of eyes on him, as well as co-signs from both J. Cole and Kendrick. He'll be going on tour this year from August to November, starting overseas and landing back in the United States. Last show, I believe, is at Echo Park in Los Angeles. Very exciting to see a young man like this that not just has the ability to continue to grow, but also that clearly cares about the message. He cares about what he's putting on record, and he's already making heartfelt songs. I know we already highlighted How Did You Love Me, which to me has amazing radio potential as far as being a lead single that has both emotional attachment, but also allows him to kind of express himself in an honest, transparent way, with the hook that was delivered by the female singer on that record. Or on records like Pretty Girl Bullshit, he lets us know that pretty girls go through bullshit too. A sentimental record that really gives me some Tupac vibes. You know, think like Brenda's Got a Baby, that seem more poetic than just like trying to make a radio hit or club record. Now, also Gold Chains is one of the highlight records, one of the last records on the project that I felt really stood out to me as something that had that victorious sound that we're used to from the South, but also allowed him to flex his lyrical abilities and not tone down his flow to make his, you know, his listener like have to listen slower. Now, with that also being said, we get records like Melanated, which seems a little bit more upbeat and fun, and sees LaReezy really just like letting loose on that record and giving himself a little bit of space to kind of just have fun with the music and his presentation, as well as on All Right, where we kind of tap back into that more emotional side or what he likes to do. It's about 12, 13 records, and I think we'll really shine light on LaReezy as one of the brightest upcoming talents that we have in the game today. Definitely worth your time to check out this weekend. And I think there's some amazing vibes on here, not just for the summer, but just if you really enjoy hip hop and you really enjoy finding new talent, new artists that really care about their message and are putting forth a message that is not just, fun, but also honest and also emotionally inclined. I think you'll find a lot of value in LaReezy's new project, Skiddle Bandana. Now, of course, coming from the South, New Orleans specifically, I think gives him a very particular dialect advantage, where I think we've always loved that accent from New Orleans, that Louisiana slang, that Louisiana lingo. And I think to have a new talent from that region that isn't shying away from that region, he's not trying to sound like Atlanta or sound like he's from somewhere else. He's very authentic to who he is and his experience growing up in Louisiana. And I think that really shines through in the music. So make sure you go press play on Skiddle Bandana by LaReezy. Again, my records that my selections as far as records that we're putting on the playlist are Family Busy, Normal Struggles, Pretty Girl Bullshit, Melanated, Alright, and Gold Chains. But honestly, there's way more records on this project that I really enjoyed. But like always, I like to give you guys a little variety and give you a little bit of everything that the artists that they provide on their project. So like that, I'm not double dipping on this style or that style. But once you get into the project, you really see a lot of value in this project and really understand what I mean when I say that he reminds me of certain artists. He seems to have the authenticity of a J. Cole with the emotional intellect of a Tupac, with also the dynamics and the delivery of, say the Hot Boys generation, with obviously that experience coming up in New Orleans. So with that being said, Rambo Hustle with the Hip Hop Report, checking out LaReezy's Skiddle Bandana, available now on all streaming platforms. Make sure you check him out. And of course, like I said, he's on tour from August to November. So check out titles, check out dates, and check out local listings to see if he's going to be around your area or in your city. And definitely check out the kid live. With the Hip Hop Report, this is Rambo's Hustle.
Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. If you want the latest and greatest, do it for the game. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. If you want the latest and greatest, do it for the game. Music, breaks, these are the breaks. Music, breaks, these are the breaks.